Hello, everybody. Welcome to this webinar series for the Vishwas AI, the DPDPA solution of cross-identity. I must say I'm overwhelmed with the presence of a very large audience in this webinar. Over the last few webinars that we have been doing, we have noticed an increasing trend of guests and people who are interested in our solution. So let me introduce today's participants. Vishal has already introduced me. I also have Shashank, who's the product owner for the cross-identity series of products, and he's heavily involved with Vishwas AI as well. Next. What we are going to do in this session is we'll give you a very quick introduction to cross-identity, and then we will move over to giving you a glimpse of the product. And then finally, we'll tell you about the commercial implications of the product. And there are some very exciting and special offers at this point in time. So beginning with the company itself, we have been in existence for more than 25 years. In fact, this is our 25th year. And we have been into the security space. Identity and access management has been our forte. And if you know, the DPDPA is something which is applicable mostly on consumers. And we already have a product in that area called Consumer Identity and Access Management. And our DPDPA tool has been built on the foundation of the CIEM, or Consumer Identity and Access Management tool. We are already recognized as a leader in identity and access management, which is the adjoining technology to the compliance, the privacy compliance that we are talking about. We have a single code-based architecture and more than 200 enterprise customers, a large number of them in the US, of course, quite a few in India, and so on. So we are very well known in our space. And as I said, the DPDPA tool is very much adjoining with the identity and access management that we already have expertise, super expertise in. Vishwas AI is the name of our tool, and this has been developed over the last 2 years in conjunction with NISG, the National Institute of Smart Governance, which is a part of Ministry MIT. And as you know, the author of the DPDPA is MIT, and NISG has played a very important role. So given the fact that we happen to be a Make in India company with global credentials, we decided to work with NISG for them to guide us to the right point in terms of the tool and what it attains. This is the only tool which has been built in direct consultation with NISG, and to that extent, you can have very high degree of confidence in the tool from that point of view. It has provable compliance. We will have more on this coming from Shashank. It has complete DPDPA coverage, which is something very unique. Most of the tools that we have seen are, and you would have seen, essentially would mean that you will have to buy multiple tools. One tool for doing data discovery, one tool for something else, one for security, and so on. But here there's just one tool that takes care of everything. It is not a tool like many others which come from outside, which have been built on top of the other privacy compliance tools like the European compliance and so on. This was built for India, and it's a very native solution from that point of view. As per DPDPA regulations. It is available in all the 22 languages and very, very quick for a data fiduciary to quickly toggle and change the language and so on. Next. With that, I'm going to move to the product feature list, and this will be done by Shashank.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Binod, for the introduction. As Binod mentioned, we will be running through the product feature list, and this what you see right now is the feature summary. As Binod rightly mentioned, we cover across all the mandatory compliances of DPDP. It is not just stuck to consent management. We span across all the 15 DPDP modules, and there are obviously we cater to all the rules within each of those modules. So let's just dive into it. So what you'll see now is the platform overview. So to begin with, when there are two portals to the application, one is the admin portal, which basically is for the data fiduciary organizations, wherein your DPOs, your internal employees, privacy managers, legal officers can log in, and then obviously you have the Mm. And then you obviously have the data principal self-service portal. But what you're looking right now at is the admin portal. So as the admin or the data principal, sorry, the legal officer logs in, what they will see is the dashboard. And in here, you will see all the compliance relevant information, starting with the consent coverage, the DPR request or the data subject rights, the actions that have taken place, the breach incidents that have been reported, the summary of the same, and more. Next, you have the consent ledger. So this is where you would get to see all the consents that have been managed for your data principles. It can be a withdrawal consent, a granted one, a modified one. All the information can be seen here for each data principle and for each purpose. And then you have a purpose catalog. So as you know, that DPDP mandates that every purpose, basically that the data principal should know the purpose for behind which the data is being used. So with this purpose catalog, you can create purposes and you can publish these purposes, which basically would be seen to the data principal, and they can grant their consent or they can withdraw consent accordingly. Then you have notices. Again, DPDP mandates that notices should be sent out to the data principals before even collecting the consent. So this is how we cater to it. You can basically create notices, and this notice will also go through a three-step approval, beginning with the privacy manager and then the legal officer and finally the DPO. After the approval, the same notice can be published. And post-publishing, these notices would be reaching on the data principal self-service portal, wherein the data principals can actually acknowledge the notice. So this way, we can also keep a tab or log of the acknowledgement in the sense that the organization, the data fiduciary or a significant data fiduciary organization will know that the data principal has actually seen the notice and has acknowledged it. And coming to the main part of consent management, which is the consent campaign, wherein you can create as many campaigns as you want. You can target certain data principles as you can also associate the purposes and notices that were created within the campaign so as to let the data principal know what the campaign is for, what purposes are included, and that there was a notice which was actually published before actually sending out the campaign for consent collection. Then in the admin portal, you will also see the DPR request tab. Basically, this is for the data subject rights, wherein the data principals can raise requests for erasure of data, access of data, deletion. If not, they can also raise grievances, which would be addressed by the grievance officer. And any ticket or any request can be assigned to certain users. It could be department managers, privacy managers, etc. Then we have breach management. As you know, DPDP mandates that any breach that has occurred upon the knowledge of the same breach, an immediate notification must be provided, and within 72 hours, a detailed notification must also be provided to the data protection. While that is available, the organization must also send out notices or notifications to the data principals. So that is also available from within the platform. Then you have DPIA, which is Data Protection Impact Assessment, wherein the application provides you a platform to create templates for assessing your protection. This can also go through a series of approvals from the legal officer to the data principal, sorry, the data protection officer. Then you have vendor management. This basically is a third-party data processor management, wherein any vendors associated with an organization who is processing the data principal's personal data it will also be monitored, and their data processing activities will also be logged. Then this is where you will find all the data principles that are present in the platform. The source can be multiple, the data principles can be onboarded via a source system like an HRMS tool or a CRM tool, or even a CSV. And we have data mapping within the application, which caters to the data discovery and data resolution mandate of DPDP, wherein we can connect to the target systems, we can fetch all the data relevant to the data principles. This way, the data resides in India region. And what you see here is data mapping. This is for the administrators to know where the data is actually present and how it is being mapped to data principles in real time. What you see here is the source systems, basically a configuration of your target or source of truth systems, wherein all your data principles lie, and you can fetch them from these source systems. And like I said, the data resolution is also a part of the data fetching, wherein there are multiple ways to fetch and store data in the sense that you can describe the rules using which the data would be mapped to a data principle. So obviously there are two types of data which are structured, and then you have PII or unstructured data. So in case of structured data, we already would have fetched the schema. So it is very easy just to fetch and map the data to the particular data principle. When it comes to unstructured data, we have something called a fuzzy logic, wherein based on certain resolution rules that are set up, the data mapping would take place. And what you see here is the resolution dashboard for the rules that are set. These were the rules that I was talking about. So you can create as many rules as you want, and these rules would be used to basically map the data to certain data principles. It could be email exact match, Aadhaar hash match, name plus date of birth plus city fuzzy logic. So things like this. And before the data is actually mapped, there will be an approval flow wherein the DPO or privacy manager will actually review the logic behind mapping the data. Post their approval, the data would be mapped in real time. And then you see the propagation monitor. So propagation is nothing but consent information propagation, which are of three types within our application. One is a push method, wherein the consent information, which is collected from the data principle, would be pushed to downstream systems or target systems, wherein the downstream systems APIs would be invoked by us. And then there is the pull mechanism, wherein if the APIs of target systems are not available, then we would be exposing our API for the target systems to be able to pull the consent information and act upon it. And then there is the third method, which is called consent enforcement. And as the name suggests, we would be enforcing the consent information or the data principles rights onto the target systems, wherein let's say that a consent which was withdrawn is being exercised in the other way on the target system. For example, if a mail is not supposed to be sent and marketing mail is yet being triggered, then our SDKs would basically enforce the consent and would block that mail being sent out. And these are the propagation webhooks, basically the API configuration that can be done for the target systems based on which the communication would happen. And the consent management is not just bound to the purposes or data of the data principles. It is we also extend to cookies, wherein the cookie management on websites can be handled, and this again can be explicitly shown to the data principles, and they can either provide consent or can withdraw given consent onto cookies as well. Coming to compliance reports, you can download any number of reports. You get a consent summary, you get breach incident log, you get DPR status report. You basically get all the compliance reports in three formats: PDF, CSV, and Excel. And here you'll find all your internal users. It could be your privacy managers, your auditors, your grievance, grievance officers, etc. And within the application, there also is a training module. This again is one of the DPDP mandates. Should have training module to for the organizations to be able to learn how to use the tool. That was the admin portal. Now moving on to the data principal self-service portal. And I would like to mention one thing that the data principals need not remember their passwords. The method of login is via OTP. They can just inject their email ID and they will be receiving the OTP using which they can log into the portal. So as and when as soon as the data principal logs into the application, they would land on the My Consent page within the portal, and all the consents can be viewed in all the 22 mandated Indian languages. And the provision of a consent or withdrawing of a consent is just a toggle away. And DPDP also mandates that while a data principal provides or grants a consent or withdraws a consent, there should be an explicit message that will them saying what would be the repercussions if a consent is withdrawn or what would be the effect when a consent is granted. All those messages are also configurable in all the 22 languages. Then you have the data subject rights request, wherein the data principals would be raising requests for all the data subject rights like erasure, deletion, updating of data, access of data, and so on. And this is the notice tab wherein the notices that were published by the DPO would be landing on the data principal portal, and from where the data principal can basically acknowledge the notice. And finally, we have the cookie settings. This is what I was talking about a few minutes ago, that the cookie consent can also be managed with just a toggle switch. Enabling and disabling would mean provision of with this, I would like to hand it back over to Mr. Bindov.
So that was a very brief on the tool itself. As you would have seen, this tool is an all-purpose tool. It does not require any other tool to be used for managing your DPDPA compliance. Okay. I would like at this point to introduce you to all about dpdpa.com. This is a site that has been built by us to help the community of consultants as well as customers who have to comply with the DPDPA, who have to implement the DPDPA Act. One second. We will just take you there. I'll spend 1 minute. Later on, you can really see as to how it works. Not only it has got all the necessary information about the Act, but it also has any new information that becomes available on DPDPA automatically is published here. So this becomes your one single point of interface for all the information on DPDPA Act and its and the changes that are happening. The second part is that it also has some very interesting features. It also has some very interesting features. This is the portal, by the way, and I will talk about free till 30th June 2026 a little later. But as I was saying, this has got all the things, including a DPDPA. If you want to see your current readiness state and what could be the liability that you may be paying at this point in time, you can go to portion called the risk calculator, or I will just show you. It's the penalty calculator. This is a very interesting way of understanding and assessing your current state of readiness. So if you fill in some of the important data here, you will be able to see your compliance, uh, your DPDPA readiness, and also based on that, what kind of penalties you may be liable to be paying. So my request would be for all of you to take a look at that. Going back to, so this is definitely something that we would request you to explore to understand everything that you need to for the DPDPA part. I know you already know quite a bit, but this could give you some additional pieces of information, and you could treat this as a single source of information for DPDPA from this point onwards. Going back to the presentation and a couple of very important areas, this tool does not take very long to implement. It has been made in a way that it's highly user-friendly. And because it's just one tool which takes care of everything, the implementation becomes much faster. So there are some timelines here and the 4 stages in which it gets implemented. Next. Now, the interesting part, a very interesting part. We are celebrating the 25 years of our identity and access management leadership. And to commemorate this occasion, we are giving a gift to the Indian enterprises that any company which decides to go for this tool during the April, May, June timeframe, this tool is becoming available for free forever. The only thing that you would pay is the support charges. This is a tool which is in the SaaS mode. It is being hosted in the AWS, and there are some costs associated with it for us. Also, there is full support that is available. All the new features that are coming would be available. And for that, there is a small support fee, which I will be showing to you. We have a certified partner network, and if you have already selected a partner for implementing the tool, you can introduce the partner to us, and we will, without any cost, we will fully train him in the implementation of the tool. So this is, as I said, these are the license fees in normal times, which is for the small organizations, 25 lakhs, based on limited purpose tool. So the features are limited there. Then you have at 50 lakhs, the mid-tier product, and at 75 lakhs, the enterprise product with all the features. This whole price is at this point in time for the next 90 days, zero. You don't pay anything if you decide to implement this tool. And you don't pay anything forever, not just for 1 year. So this is a subscription-based tool. And if you go for this tool during this coming quarter, then you pay zero for license forever. The support charges are based on the size of the organization. For MSMEs, it is 12.5 lakhs per year. And for the large enterprise, it is 22.5 lakhs per year. As I said, this includes all the updates, upgrades. It includes the cost of SaaS delivery, and it includes unlimited support. That brings me to the end of the presentation, and I would like to invite questions from all of you. One question is, does your solution has automated breach detection and notification? Yes, the answer is very much yes. You saw it also. Maybe the gentleman who asked the question missed that. One question is, how easily does your solution integrate with our existing systems like CRM, ERP, and databases? As I said, there are a very large number of APIs that are already available, and the architecture of the tool is such that it's pretty easy to integrate it with your existing applications that contain the databases. Another question is, how does your solution stay updated? As I said, this is through the amendments that will be done. This is a SaaS tool. and therefore all the amendments as they happen in our product as well as they happen in the government regulations, we will keep on updating it at all times, and you don't have to bother about it. Another question is on the pricing model and whether we do the implementation. So no, we do not do implementation. We are a product provider. We have got experts that can help your implementation company or agency in implementing, but we don't do implementation ourselves. As I said, we'll be happy if you decide for the tool, and if you want your consultant to work with us to get trained, we'll be happy to train him for free and get him certified as well. So these are some of the questions that are there. Apart from that, if there are any others, you can please go ahead and ask. Okay, so there's one more question. My question is not about the solution, but just wanted to understand if an organization is already GDPR compliant, what extra we need to do for complying with DPDPA. It's an excellent question. We have been asked this question by others as well. And we can take this separately, but there are many things in GDPR that are not there are many things in DPDPA which are not there in GDPR, and we can send you a set of those and basically details on that. But there are a number of things that GDPR does not have. In fact, as you know about GDPR, it was the first privacy compliance regulation in the world. And with that, it was not as developed at that point in time. Many amendments have happened over a period of time, but still DPDPA till as of now is the most comprehensive privacy management available. We'll send you the details. And the question is how this tool can be helpful for an MNC who is GDPR compliant. So as I said, if you're already GDPR compliant, then this tool it'll be much easier to implement this tool because you already understand the compliance of GDPR, which is almost, I would say, about 80% of the compliance already done. Though there can be some changes in the way a particular compliance works, particular area works. So you may have to do some changes as per that and add some of the other areas. This minor part is not there in GDPR, right? Minors. Parental consent. For example, parental consent is not there in GDPR, and it is available in nominee access as well. So if you are already GDPR compliant, our tool will enable you to get DPDPA compliant very, very quickly. There's one more question on the cost, which is okay, the gentleman wants to avoid any confusion about the cost, that if this tool is signed up during the April, May, June quarter, will the subscription be waived off forever or for just 1 year? So I once again repeat that it will be waived forever. So if you sign up during this period and you start working on the tool, then you don't have to pay ever for this tool. You will only pay the maintenance and support. That's all. We do have a set of experts in the organization, and we work constantly with many of the consultants. We are helping them to implement DPDPA on a regular basis. This tool also utilizes some of the very good AI features to enable you to implement fast, and also it's easier because of the utilization of AI to make changes to the tool as and when the regulations come across some changes. We would we will be sending you these slides at the end of the session. We would also be sharing the URL for the site where you'll find most of the details available. And if you would like us to send you a real demonstration video, we'll be happy to do that. Please let us know. And if you have any other questions before you sign up for the tool, please do let us know. We can also organize a separate one-on-one meeting. And thank you so much for being in this webinar.